Good morning, Archie.
Good morning.
How are you this morning?
Good.
Well, I will share my screen with you. We left off at a pretty exciting place last time. It was when Annie, they were trying to sneak past the guards. I think we have a picture of that. Yeah, right here. So they were, here's Jack and Annie before they put the cloak on. And then they have to cross this bridge. And then they have to get past those two guards and through the iron gate. So they're trying to do it while being invisible using the cloak. And then Annie says, whoosh. She says, what did she say? She said, I'm the wind. I'm the wind. Annie whispered. Oh, I see we finished here. So we need to do this page. I almost skipped a page. Annie gave the gate a shove. Oops, I like using the red dot better. It swung open as if pushed by the wind. Jack looked back and saw that the guards had turned in their direction. Quick, whispered Annie. She and Jack moved silently through the gateway. Whoosh, said Annie. It's so funny. She pushed the gate back. It shut with a clang. Through the bars, Jack saw the guards face the bridge again. Good work, he said to Annie. Thanks, she said. Jack and Annie then turned away from the gate. Oh, whispered Annie. The other world, whispered Jack. Okay, before we start the next chapter, which I do think is called The Other World, can you tell me what just happened? How? I mean, I get it that Annie was pretending to be the wind, and I get it that the gate seemed open by the wind. But I don't understand why Annie was making the sound whoosh. Because how can a person make a sound that sounds really like the wind and not like a person who's trying to sound like the wind? Any ideas about that?
No.
Oh, that was funny. Okay, here we are in chapter 8, The Other World. The other world was completely different from the dark, cold world Jack and Annie had just left behind. Well, we have a clue right here. We can make a prediction. If the other world, that's funny, I called Camelot the other world. If the Camelot world was dark and the other world is completely different, then will it be dark?
No.
And if, again, I want to say the other world, but I mean Camelot. If Camelot was cold, then would the other world be cold?
No.
So I'm kind of predicting then, or inferring that the other world is going to be light and warm. Maybe a place that looks like springtime or beautiful.
Or they just go back home.
Back home to like Pennsylvania?
Yes.
That's clever. I like that idea. Well, let's see. They were standing at the edge of a pale green meadow. That reminds me of the picture we saw with the wildflowers. The meadow was bathed in warm, rosy sunlight. Some of these words that she's using to describe the scene, we've got a green meadow. We have warm, rosy sunlight. 3 horses, one black, one brown, one gray, were grazing nearby. On a hillside beyond the meadow, red and purple flowers sparkled like bright buttons. she's using much different words to describe what it feels like and what it looks like here in the other world. Instead of craggy mountains, it's a hillside. There are red and purple flowers. They're sparkling and bright. So, well, this here is a simile. Oh, my pen is so big. Like bright, sparkled like bright buttons. Because of that word like right here. This is a simile. Although I wouldn't say they were sparkling like bright buttons. Let me say, what do you think would look like bright buttons in this sentence? Red and purple flowers sparkled like bright buttons. What part of that do you think looks like bright buttons? Do you think it's the sparkling or do you think it's the flowers?
Flowers.
Yeah, I think it's the red and purple flowers that are in the meadow that look like bright buttons. And then Annie says, "It's so nice here," said Annie. "Yeah," said Jack, "maybe we won't need this anymore." He pulled the hood of the cloak off their heads. He was relieved to see Annie's face and to see himself. When we feel relief, that means all of our worry is gone. We're just like, phew, it's okay. "What was the first rhyme again?" asked Annie. Jack took out his notebook. He found the first rhyme and read aloud. "Beyond the iron gate, the keepers of the cauldron wait." So I think they need to look for the keepers of the cauldron. They have just gone past the iron gate. He looked around warily. This word warily that ends with ly is telling us how he's looking around. It's telling us, how is he doing that? Well, the word warily means you're a little nervous. You're being very careful, very cautious, just like Jack. He's more cautious than Annie is. So he's, they're not invisible anymore. They don't know what to expect. And so he's just looking around kind of carefully, a little nervously maybe. He wants to make sure that nothing bad happens. So he looked around warily. And then he says, "I wonder where the keepers of the cauldron are," he said. "What do you mean?" asked Annie. "We just sneaked past them, remember?" Whoosh. "I don't know," said Jack. "The rhyme says beyond the iron gate. And this is an important word. Beyond is actually a preposition. Prepositions are, I call them line leaders because they are the first word in a little group of words that work together. A lot of prepositions are words like in something, on something, over something, or beyond something. So this is beyond something. Beyond what? It's beyond the iron gate. So these words together, beyond the iron gate, would be a prepositional phrase. But that preposition, beyond, is important. It's different from over the gate, or under the gate, or on the gate, or before the gate. It's beyond. So that means they have to go through it and then keep looking. He says, those guards were standing in front of the gate. They weren't beyond it. Now, in front of the gate, this is interesting because here, in front of is these three words is actually, these three words.
I know it's in front of, like here is my hand. It is you, and this is me, and I guess I'm in front of you.
Right. Together, in front of, equal a preposition. Even though they are 3 words, they go together as a preposition. And then we need to have a thing after it, which would be the gate. And then all together in front of the gate is the group of words that is the prepositional phrase. So beyond is different from in front of. Shh, said Annie. Listen. From over the hill came the faint sounds of sweet, joyful music. Maybe the keepers of the cauldron are playing that music, said Annie. Maybe. I think that ... means that he's thinking about it. He's not sure, said Jack. He listened for a moment and smiled. The music made him feel light and happy. Boy, we have some more words here that are really helping us feel happy, sweet, joyful. This is the first time we have seen joyful in the book, I think. Full of joy. That's definitely not Camelot. They have smiled. We did not see much smiling back in Camelot. Feeling light and happy. And just music. We did not have music back in Camelot.
Jack said they will be invisible again, so Annie will just whoosh again.
Let's go meet the keepers, said Annie. Not so fast, said Jack. Shouldn't we be invisible again? Right. Just in case? I guess so, said Annie, sighing. Right? When he says just in case, he's like, let's be careful. We don't know what's going to happen. We think everything is fine, but just in case we are wrong, maybe we should be prepared. We should be cautious. Jack pulled the hood of the cloak over their heads. Together, they started walking invisibly across the soft meadow. That word soft is another word that's very gentle. It feels good. They passed the 3 horses and climbed the flower-covered hill, right? Very different from the rocky slope. At the top, they looked down. Oh man, said Jack. The hill sloped gently. There's that word sloped, but instead of it being rocky and steep, it was gentle, sloped gently down into a misty green glade. In the middle of the glade, a band of musicians played flutes and pipes, drums and violins. Around the band, hundreds of dancers danced in a huge circle. Wow, it just sounds so lovely, doesn't it? We have a soft meadow, a flower-covered hill. The hill sloped gently, misty green glade. Musicians played flutes and pipes, drums and violins. There's dancers dancing. My goodness, this is just not Camelot anymore. The keepers of the cauldron, said Annie. Now, does she know for sure, or is she assuming? Annie does not know for sure. She is assuming that they are the keepers of the cauldron. When you assume something, you think you know for sure, but you don't know for sure. You are just so confident that you just believe you're right, but you don't actually know for sure. You are making an assumption. There's that word, like this is the word assume, and then assumption would be like this, and that is when you are assuming something. She said, the keepers of the cauldron. The dancers and musicians were smiling and laughing. If people are smiling and laughing, then they can't be a threat, right? I mean, they must not be bad guys, right? They must be helpful and good. But I am assuming that. That is my assumption, like Annie. I hope that we're right. Let's see. They wore blue coats and green coats, white gowns and yellow gowns. So they're colorful. I want you to have a picture in your mind of what's happening. There's smiling, there's laughing, there's music, there's dancing. They're wearing blue and green and white and yellow. Very different from Camelot, when it just seemed like everyone was wearing gray and black, right? There was like no color, there was no life, there was no music, no smiling, no dancing, no laughing. Very, very different. And their hats had colored feathers. The dancers looked like people, except they all had glittering gold skin and wings that shimmered in the mist like spun silver. This here is a very interesting paragraph because they really don't seem to look like people to me. They say that the dancers look like people, except this is a lot of things that are except for this and except for this and except for this. They have glittering gold skin and they have wings. I think as soon as you say that they have wings, I'm not thinking people. But then the wings.
I'm thinking bird.
Like birds? Or maybe fairies? I'm not sure. Glittering gold skin. But when we see words like glittering and shimmering and spun silver, we are still thinking it feels nice, it looks nice, it has this kind of comfy, cozy feeling to it, right? We're not feeling scared and afraid and nervous. And Annie says, "They're beautiful," said Annie. "Yeah, they are," said Jack. "I don't think we need to be invisible with them," said Annie. So that's another assumption. She's assuming. I hope she's right. Well, Jack thinks that she's right. He says, "I think you're right," said Jack. He and Annie threw off the red cloak. They left it in the dewy grass and ran down the hillside to the winged dancers. The dancers paid no attention to them. They just kept going around and around in their joyous circle. You see here, joyous means full of joy. "I feel like dancing with them," said Annie. "Me too," said Jack. It was strange. He was usually shy about dancing. If he is usually shy, that means he's not comfortable dancing. He doesn't want people to see him dancing. But he wanted to join this dance more than anything. You know, that sounds a little mysterious to me. That means that he is not acting like his normal self. If normally, usually, he does not like to dance in front of other people, all of a sudden he's excited to dance. He's not feeling shy, he's not feeling nervous. He's also not feeling cautious. That's not normal for Jack. So he's not acting in a normal way. I wonder if it is just because there is so much joy, or I wonder if there is a spell going on here, or any kind of magic, or anything that maybe we should be nervous about, us the reader, as we see that Jack is starting to not act like his normal self. What do you think?
I think so.
Should we keep reading to find out?
Yes.
Jack pulled off his backpack. As he set it down, he saw 3 swords lying in the grass. You know, this number 3, what does that number 3 make you think of? Especially 3 swords. Does that make you think of anything? And we also saw the number 3 back here, 3 horses. And now we see 3 swords. Does that make you think of anything?
Maybe the horses are the guard.
Well, or you mean the guards of the Iron Gate?
No, the keepers of the cauldron.
The keepers of the cauldron, okay.
Maybe they are the keepers of the cauldron.
Maybe. The number 3 also reminds me of something that we heard all the way back. Where?
Oh,
Where
you said, oh, I know. The 3 horses are the 3 knights.
Yes.
Maybe the 3 horses are the 3 knights, and someone turned them into magic, and they turn into horse.
Maybe. So you think maybe the 3 knights turned into the 3 horses?
Yes.
So let's see here. I think it was back here when he said, well, these were the 3 that were missing. And so I think back here, he was telling us that right here it tells us the king chose his 3 bravest knights to win there.
No, the 3 horses are 3 knights, and the 3 swords are the 3 knights' swords.
Okay, so let's see. That's what the number 3 is making me think about. So he saw these 3 swords lying in the grass, but he didn't stop to wonder about them. Now, this is something else that is not like Jack. Jack always stops to wonder about things. Jack is the kind of person who wonders about everything. He loves to think about things, and he's cautious, and he's a little more shy. So he is not acting like his normal self at all. It says the music was calling. The winged dancers broke their circle and welcomed Jack and Annie into their dance. Annie held Jack's right hand as he grasped the slender golden hand of the dancer on his left. The dancer smiled down at him. Like the others, she was as tall as a grown-up. Here's a simile because we can see the as and the as. And then this is the adjective in the middle. She was as tall as a grown-up, but she didn't have any lines or wrinkles on her face. All the dancers looked very young, yet they seemed ancient at the same time. That's sort of that's hard to picture. They looked young, but seemed ancient. Ancient is a word that means very, very old. As Jack danced around in the circle, his heart leaped. Remember when we've talked about the heart, where we can feel high or low, happy or sad, hopeful or disappointed? Well, if our heart leaps, leap is when we go from low to high, we jump up. So if our heart leaps, then maybe we're down here a little bit. And then if it leaps up, it's going to become even more full of joy and excitement. His spirits soared. Same thing with spirits. We've talked about how both we use the word heart and our spirits to talk about our feelings. The word soared is what a bird does. It flies high, soars in the sky. So if your spirits are soaring, then they're up here. So his heart, his spirits, he's feeling very excited and full of joy. His glasses fell off, but he didn't care. Again, this is very much not like Jack, right? He didn't care. That is starting to make me a little nervous, actually. He kept dancing. As he danced, everything in his mind became a blur. A blur means not clear, kind of fuzzy. And so actually it's interesting. I need to wear glasses in order to see clearly. If I take my glasses off, then I can't really see you anymore. You look very blurry. So what I see with my eyes is blurry. His glasses fell off. So what he can see with his eyes is blurry. But also they say what he's thinking in his mind is also blurry. That is a different thing. Everything in his mind became a blur. That means he's not thinking clearly. He forgot about Morgan and Camelot. He forgot about the quest for the water of memory and imagination. He forgot all his fears and worries. So his mind is getting blurry. He's not thinking clearly. He's also not seeing clearly. But here he is forgetting. What color should I use? I'd like to use a different color. How about purple, maybe? Okay. He forgot about Morgan and Camelot. He forgot about the quest. He forgot all his fears and worries. Jack, look, Annie cried. Jack looked at her. Hi, he shouted, laughing. No, don't look at me, she called. Look there, look across the circle. I can't see, he said. 3 nights, Annie shouted. 3 nights dancing.
You celebrate 3 nights dancing?
I think so. That seems odd, right? We don't normally think of knights in shining armor going dancing. We think of them very serious.
3 nights dancing.
And protecting them. Yeah. So I have a question, Archie. The king sent those 3 knights on a mission, on a quest, to go into the other world and to recapture their joy, right? But then those 3 knights never came back. And so the king was really worried. The king of Camelot, King Arthur, was very worried. But I want you to notice what just happened with Jack and Annie. They just came into the other world, and already Jack has forgotten the mission. He has forgotten the quest. He has forgotten what they are there to do. So if he does not remember and he is just happy, do you think he's going to all of a sudden remember, or do you think he's just going to keep dancing? How do you get your memory back if you have just lost it? He cannot forget, means you don't remember. So isn't it interesting? They went to the other world to get this water of memory, but now he has lost his own memory. He doesn't remember why he's there. He doesn't remember what the quest is. Do you think it's possible that these 3 knights also arrived in the other world on the same quest? And then as soon as they got there, they forgot why they're there and they just started dancing and being happy and have kind of lost their own memory?
Yes, I just think so. Because they are magic.
I think this is a little, something fishy is going on here. I think there is something going on with magic. So they see the 3 knights dancing. I really hope that Annie and Jack kind of snap out of it and remember why they are there. Well, here we can see this picture. Yeah, they look more like fairies to me. You can see their wings. Here's the musicians. Here's Jack and Annie. I'm not sure though if we can see the knights. If we look, there's the musicians.
Maybe Morgan is in there.
I wonder if it's these 3 because they do not have wings.
Yes, I wonder.
Great, Jack shouted. No, Jack, they look awful. They look sick, Annie yelled. She pulled away from the circle and tumbled back into the grass. Jack, she called, stop dancing. But Jack didn't want to stop. He wanted to dance to the wild music forever, forever and ever and ever. So who is the one kind of keeping their head here? Is it Jack or Annie?
Annie.
Yeah, thank goodness someone is. Here is chapter 9, The Lost Nights. And this is where we are going to have to leave ourselves hanging and wait for next time. Oh, it's again so exciting. It's so hard to stop reading. Okay, what color do you want for your star?
All blue.
All blue. Okay. Okay, Archie, it's great to see you, and I look forward to picking up where we left off next time. Have a great day.
Goodbye.
Oh, I forgot to say so long.
Trader Chip.
Bye-bye.